Introducing a repo with 100 AI agents and RAG app.
Clone it and try the code yourself. Follow along and experiment on your machine.
There's a repository with over 100 AI agents and RAG apps in it. GitHub has this culture of awesome whatever. Repos that just collect recommended links.
Oh, the ones that are just a list of links to other people's projects.
This one's also called awesome-llm-apps, but the contents are different. Almost everything comes bundled with the actual source code. Clone it, and it just works.
So it's not a link collection, it's a collection of working code.
Right? From a travel planner to an insurance claims agent, it's all there in working form.
Now that's got me curious.
Today, I'll walk through what you can build with it and where to start. Let's actually run one first. I'll try it with AI Travel Agent. Git clone, cd into the target folder, then pip install. And finally Streamlit run to launch it. That's it.
The README's quick start is only 4 lines. Isn't that a bit too minimal?
The UI is unified around Streamlit, so every sample runs with the same steps.
Does travel_agent need any API keys?
You need an OpenAI key and a SERP API key. Just get those ready. Also, each subfolder has its own requirements, TXT, so dependency conflicts are rare.
So each folder's environment is self-contained.
Right? It won't clash with the other samples, so you can just run whichever one you want.
With over 100 of them, having each one independent makes it easy to try things out.
That's the difference from a typical awesome list. Those give you links, this gives you the real thing. You don't get sent off to some link, and then get stuck setting up the environment.
Having it just work right after cloning is quietly a huge relief.
These 100+ projects are organized into 8 categories. You don't need to memorize all of it. Just get a sense of where things are. I'd recommend starting with Starter AI Agents. It has 16 projects covering relatable use cases, like a travel planner or household budget analysis.
Won't beginner-level stuff get boring pretty fast?
Once you're comfortable, move on to Advanced AI Agents. It has agent setups modeled on real work, like legal teams or recruiting teams.
So there's a clear layer between beginner, friendly, and practical real-world use.
There's also a solid RAG_tutorials section with 24 different RAG patterns.
24 patterns? Are there really that many schools of thought on RAG?
There's a pattern for every trick that improves accuracy. You can see the whole range of implementation patterns right there. There's also MCP AI agents, voice AI agents, and always-on agents. Those cover the latest trends too, like MCP server integration and voice agents.
It's nice having everything from beginner projects to the latest trends in one repository.
There's a category called Agent Skills, and this one's fun. Let me show you a skill called Project Graveyard.
Project Graveyard? That name sounds ominous.
It scans your machine's Git history for abandoned projects. Then it analyzes why each one died, and suggests which ones might be worth reviving.
I definitely have a bunch of abandoned repos sitting around.
It even classifies the cause of death, things like deploy fear or a payments wall.
Like it stalled because deploying felt scary, or it got stuck implementing payments.
It infers that from the gaps between commits and the pattern of the last files you touched.
That's terrifying. It's going to expose every side project I abandoned halfway.
But once you know the cause of death, you might actually be able to finish it this time. You can add this skill with npx skills add.
So it drops into something like Claude Code or Cursor with one command.
Right. It follows a shared spec called SKILL.md, so any compatible agent can use it. Also, a lot of skills like this are actually just a prompt under the hood. This one uses a real scripts approach instead. The deterministic parts are run by actual scripts.
So it's not giving you a different result every time, it's actually reproducible.
There's also a category called Voice AI Agents, and I want you to see this one too. There's a sample called Insurance Claim Live Agent Team.
An agent team for insurance claims.
While the customer is describing the accident, multiple agents are working in the background. It transcribes the voice in real time and extracts the fields needed for the claim.
So processing runs in parallel while the call is happening.
Right? And it's not just one agent. It's handled by a team of specialized agents. There's an agent that picks up names and dates, and another that classifies the claim type. The roles are divided up. By the time the call ends, the draft document is already done.
The paperwork's already done the moment you hang up. That could really change how call centers operate.
It uses Gemini Live, so the real-time voice processing is built in and just works.
I always figured voice agent samples would be a pain to set up.
Same as the others here. All you need is requirements.txt and an API key, and it runs.
It's nice that even the voice stuff follows the same conventions as the rest of the repo.
Out of the 24 RAG_tutorials samples, I want to show you the most advanced one. It's called multimodal agentic RAG.
Multimodal, so it handles more than just text?
PDFs, images, audio, video, all of it gets processed through a single embedding. The key part is that it's all unified under one RAG.
Normally you'd build separate systems for images and audio, right?
Right, usually you'd build them separately. This one automatically routes to the right source depending on the question.
So if I ask, what does this diagram mean? It answers straight from the image.
Exactly. Even if there's no text explanation, it looks at the diagram itself and generates the answer.
How does it handle video?
It passes the entire video file to Gemini and turns it directly into an embedding.
I always figured you'd need to read papers to keep up with the cutting edge of RAG.
What's great about this one is you can learn from working code instead.
Having 24 different RAG patterns all in a working state is pretty valuable.
This repo isn't pushing any one specific framework.
So it's not like LangChain or nothing? Or Team Llama Index?
There's Agno, the OpenAI Agents SDK, Google ADK, Crew AI, even Pydantic AI, and it spans models too: GPT, Claude, Gemini, DeepSeek, Llama.
That could be useful as a comparison point when you're stuck choosing a framework.
The crash_course folder has Google ADK and the OpenAI SDK side by side. You can compare how both handle the same topics: structured outputs, tools, memory.
So you can see the same feature implemented in two different SDK right next to each other?
Exactly. You can compare the implementations and figure out which one fits you better.
Is the license okay for commercial use?
It's Apache 2.0, so you can fork it and use it in your own commercial product. The author even wrote at the bottom of the README: fork it, ship it, sell it. It's a really useful repo, but there's something I want you to know before you run it. There are over 100 examples, but not all of them are meant for production. Think of them as learning material and a starting point, not more than that.
So the assumption is you understand it and modify it, not deploy it as is.
Also, the API key and usage costs are on you, obviously. Multi-agent setups especially need care. A single request can trigger dozens of API calls.
So because multiple agents are working together, the charges add up accordingly.
Right, with team-based setups, each agent can call the model multiple times for just one request. It's worth checking the README for the structure before you try it, so you get a sense of the cost.
Precisely because it's so easy to run, you've got to watch the billing. With over 100 of these, it's easy to get lost on where to even start.
It helps to split it by purpose. For learning, Starter AI Agents is the clear pick. Each file is just a few hundred lines, so you can copy it by hand and actually grasp the structure.
What if you want to use it at work?
I'd recommend forking one of the team-based ones in advanced. Legal, hiring, that kind of thing. The setups are built for real use cases, so you can use them as is.
What about beefing up something like Claude Code or another everyday agent?
Then it's just npx skills add, and you pick whatever you want from agent skills.
So the entry point really depends on what you're going for.
You don't need to read it all. Just treat it as a map you open whenever you need it. Get one running first, then branch out from there based on what interests you.
Sharina's going to dig through Project Graveyard and see what's been left to rot.